Test. Test, 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 test. A little more, a little harder. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. I think that's good. That's probably good. Yeah. Okay. All right. Will you sit down? Okay, now that we found the musicians, we can get going. Yeah. Oh, I love it. So welcome to Jazz Evensong at Brentwood Presbyterian Church. We are delighted to have you with us this evening. My name is Brian Fraser. I have the privilege of being the minister in this wonderful little congregation. And tonight we are honored to have these musicians with us, the ones on the stage, and there's a special guest who will kind of sneak up at some point and sing with her daughter. So let's start with Lorraine Foster. Stand up, Lorraine. There we are. Okay. On piano, Miles Black. On bass, Tim Stacy. Good to have you back in the house, man. And Kathleen Driscoll on vocals. So I think we'll have you every week, okay? This is wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. Delight to have you here in person. For those of you joining us on the live stream, we're delighted to have you participating in that way as well. And for those of you that are, will be watching this after on the live stream, we are delighted to have you doing that as well. So it's kind of three modes of participating these days, and we're delighted to have you participating in whatever way you see fit. We do want to acknowledge with respect and gratitude that Brentwood sits on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. The Presbyterian Church in Canada is the denomination that this congregation belongs to. Back in 1994, we issued a confession to our Indigenous kin and to God, obviously. And one of the phrases in that confession, there's copies of the confession on the back table there if you're interested in looking at the whole thing, but one of the phrases that has always haunted me since we crafted the confession is that we confess to our misrepresentations of Jesus in our relations with our Indigenous kin. And that's a really profound statement that I think we're still coming to grips with. And we want to do that in dialogue with our Indigenous kin. And we want to continue to work at implementing the recommendations of Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, especially those dealing with religion, with respectful interfaith dialogue, and with reforming the church. So let's begin with a word of prayer. O Spirit of our Creator's Christ, Jesus of Nazareth, you draw us here with welcoming love. You draw us here from neighborhoods of struggle and strife bearing stress injuries of all kinds. In the safety of this sanctuary, you heal us into greater wholeness. So in this time, in this place, at this point in our lives, inspire and equip us to be faithful, wise, and effective ambassadors of your forgiving and reconciling love. Amen. So this is a great playlist tonight. So the basic flow of the service for those of you who are here for the first time, and thank you very much for coming. I should have said, I'll say it over again later, is that there is a sign-up sheet at the back. And so you can put your name and email. If you want to know what's going on Sunday morning, click that box. Wednesday night, click that box. If you're just kind of interested in what we do around here, click both boxes. But we'd love to keep in touch with you that way. First set. She's smiling. I love it. Bye-bye Blackbird. It's wonderful. Nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. It don't mean a thing if it... No, I won't sing. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Miles Black, Tim Stacy, Kathleen Driscoll.
Pack up all my cares and woe. Here I go, swinging low. Bye, bye, Blackbird. Where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, so is he. Bye, 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 Blackbird. No one here can love and understand me. All that hard luck stories they all hand me. Make my bed and light the light. I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye. Pack up all my cares and woes. Here I go, singing low. Bye, ooh, bye, 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 Blackbird. Where somebody waits for me. Ooh, sugar sweet, so is he. Bye, 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 Blackbird. No one here can love and understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. Well, make my bed and light the light. I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, Blackbird, bye-bye. So long. Bye-bye. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Miles Black and Tim Stacy. Now, I wanted to just say a little word about my, if I can get my, here we go. Bye Bye Blackbird was written by Ray Henderson in 1926. Now, the rest of the songs, I'm going to be honoring my mom because these songs remind me of her, and they were from her CDs that she did. She did Live at the Alma in 1992, and We'll Meet Again in 1999, Compositions by Musicians, 2003, and In a Mellow Tone, 2021. So the next one is So Wonderful. It's 1927. That was composed by George Gershwin and lyrics by Ira Gershwin. It's wonderful, it's marvelous, you should care for me. It's awful nice, it's paradise, it's what I love to see. You've made my life so glamorous, you can't blame me for feeling amorous. Oh, it's wonderful, it's marvelous that you should care for me. Oh, c'est magnifique, it's what I seek, that you should care for me. C'est elegant, it's what I want, it's what I love to see. My dear, it's a four-leaf clover. From now on, my heart's working overtime. Oh, it's wonderful, marvelous, that you should care for me. Oh, it's wonderful, it's marvelous, you should care for me. It's awful nice, oh, it's paradise, it's what I love to see. You made my life so glamorous, you can't blame me for feeling amorous. Oh, it's wonderful, it's marvelous, that you should care for, that you should care for, that you should care for me. Oh, yeah. All right. This song, it was written in 1939, and it was written by Eric Maschwitz and music by Manning Sherwin, and this is also from one of my mom's albums. A Nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. That certain night, the night we met, there was magic abroad in the air. There were angels dining at the Ritz, and a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm perfectly willing to swear that when you turned and smiled at me, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. The moon that lingered over London town, poor puzzled moon, he wore a frown. How could he know that we two were so in love? The whole darn world seemed upside down. The streets of town were paved with stars. It was such a romantic affair. And as we kissed and said good night, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. That lingered over London town, poor puzzled moon, he wore a frown. How could he know we two were so in love? The whole darn world seemed upside down. The streets were paved, all with stars. It was such a romantic affair. And as we kissed and said good night, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I know 'cause I was there that night in Berkeley Square. Now we're going to wake you guys up a little bit. Okay, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. And hold on. Oh, this was composed by Duke Ellington and the lyrics by Irving Mills in 1931. So, here we go, boys. What good is melody? What good is music if it ain't possessing something sweet? It ain't the melody, it ain't the music. There's something else that makes this tune complete. Oh. Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. It don't mean a thing, all you got to do is sing. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just give that rhythm everything you got. Oh, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. Oh, it don't mean a thing if you gotta do is sing. Oh, do-ah, 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 do-ah. Oh, it makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just give that rhythm everything you got. Oh, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. Miles Black. Tim Stacy. Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Go, Tim. Don't mean a thing if you got to do is sing. It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just give that rhythm everything you got. Oh, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. Thank you. Miles Black, Tim Stacy.
I'm Kathleen Driscoll. So the kid's pretty good. Yeah. Oh. Thank you again. That's wonderful. Yeah, our pleasure. Our pleasure. So for those of you here for the first time, basically what happens is we get a lot of music, and then I get to talk, and then we get a lot more music, and then I get to talk a little bit. So that's the flow of the service. And what I've been doing is finding quotes from people who connect jazz and spirituality. In some cases, it's Christian spirituality. In other cases, it's their own spirituality. We did a wonderful, this would be 5 years ago, back in the summer of 2018. We got some funding from the federal government and from a place down in Grand Rapids called the Calvin Institute of Christian Worship. It's centered at Calvin College down there. And so we were able to hire 4 young jazz musicians to go around and interview their friends and other jazz musicians, and a few of us ministers who did jazz worship services on a regular basis, and ask them how they saw the spiritual dimension at work in their music. Now, those of you that hang around the church a bit know that these days the church is agonizing over secularism, secularization. So it's the idea that people no longer worry about, believe in, accept the fact that there's a God. Charles Taylor's kind of the philosophical theorist of it, wonderful philosopher out of McGill. And so he basically says it's a combination of scientific materialism, right? In other words, what you see is what you get, even if you need a microscope to see it or a telescope to see it. And that's it. That's reality. And so it's that kind of immanent, flat, no transcendence involved in reality at all. And what we found fascinating, and so, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of words are being spilled by theologians agonizing over this and trying to figure out how do we deal with it. What we found interesting was that we did about 80 interviews. We've got about 120 pages of transcripts that we're just beginning to play around with and work through. There wasn't a single jazz musician that we talked to that denied a spiritual dimension in their musicking. Every one of them understood that in some way, shape, or form, something bigger than they were was at work in what they were doing, whether it was composing or playing or just talking with each other. One of the delightful things about jazz musicians, they're always talking with each other. And they're always talking about their mentors and about this performance and that performance and what went wrong here and what we did to correct it. I've always loved Miles Davis. That was where I first ran across this. All sorts of jazz musicians have this attributed to them. But the quote is, there are no such things as mistakes in jazz, only opportunities to learn. Right? So if you mistake it the first time through, then you can retake it and try it again. And the beauty when you talk to jazz musicians is that they often say, the most creative thing that happens when we're playing is the mistakes. Because all of a sudden, or what appear to be mistakes, because all of a sudden we get to think about what we're doing in a whole different way. So maybe the mistake leads to, right, a whole different way of playing the song, a whole different way of seeing things. So that connection. Now, the way in which those jazz musicians describe the spiritual dimension of what was going on was fascinatingly diverse, right? Scholars call it hybridity. Isn't that a wonderful scholarly word? But essentially it means, well, you take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you mush it all together, and there's your spirituality. It's very common these days. But we think here at Brentwood that it's really important to be able to sit down in respectful dialogue to that way of seeing the transcendent, of seeing the spiritual, because we've got as much to learn from that dialogue as they may. And in the final analysis, what happens out of those conversations is way beyond my pay grade. Now that's up to the Spirit. And frankly, you don't control her. So it opens up a fascinating set of conversations. Anyhow, this is a guy by the name of William Edgar. And he's wrote a book last year called A Supreme Love, the Music of Jazz and the Hope of the Gospel. And this is a quote from that. Good jazz should lead the listener from the tribulation of suffering to great joy. Good jazz should lead the listener from the tribulations of suffering into great joy. And when you hear the tribulations of suffering, I don't know about you, but I can't help think of what's going on in the interior, what's going on with the floods down in California, all the war in Ukraine. There's just pockets, far too many pockets, where the tribulations of suffering are happening these days, are being caused these days. And so jazz came out of that. Right? Jazz is a musical form that came out of the tribulations of suffering, especially the tribulations of slavery in the United States, other parts of the world, but slavery. And it's a community that has a tradition of musicking that basically says those tribulations, that suffering, that pain is not going to define reality for us. It's real. It's real, but it ain't going to define us. Right? It is not going to define us. There is something more to this life. There is something more in every breath we take that's life-giving, that tends towards justice, that practices kindness and humility, that builds a worldwide community made up of all peoples, of the whole creation. So one of the things we talk about around here at Brentwood is that the welcome of God, the hospitality of God, which is always there, whether we recognize it or not. It is always there. That hospitality, this was a mantra given to us by a young jazz musician, Caden Gordon, plays the trumpet. And he started hanging around here and eventually decided to be baptized and join the church. And so I said to him in the conversation, so what kept you here? People that hang around here have heard this story over and over again. What kept you here? And he said, well, first and foremost, it was the hospitality. I mean, I just felt really welcome here. I felt this was a place, from the moment I walked in the door, I felt that I belonged. And in that sense of hospitality, in that sense of belonging, I found hope. And in the hope, I found healing. That's the story of jazz. You know, you get together, no matter what you've been through during the day in the fields, you get together, and especially when you get together on Sunday at church, right? And you get to play. And a joy emerges in the midst of that suffering. In spite of that suffering, that says, that doesn't define reality. The fact that you are loved by God and love each other as a result, in response, in gratitude, that's what defines reality. So Edgar goes on to say, now not every piece contains this full narrative. Right? Not every piece of jazz takes you from the tribulations of suffering to great joy. They catch little bits and pieces of it. But the whole body of jazz, the whole community of jazz, the whole tradition of jazz does. I mean, you can hear it in the songs tonight. The songbook of the Bible is the Psalms, in the middle of the Bible, 150 of them. That's how we've divided them anyway. We really don't know how they would have been sung originally. We come along and we put verses to them and we put numbers to them, but that's not what happened originally. They just got sung. But in the one we call Psalm 30 now, it says, "You have turned my mourning into dancing. You've turned my mourning, my sadness, into dancing." That's the kind of joy that emerges from this kind of musicking, from this kind of community, from this sense of belonging. And so, that sense of, And I haven't been standing at the back. I've been sitting fairly close to the front. But usually what happens, and one of the things reasons we enjoy these chairs so much is you can dance in them, right? I mean, right? They give. Every now and then when they break, but don't worry, that's fine. It's worth it. If you're dancing that energetically, that's fine. We can handle that. But thank you so much again for being here. And a special thanks to Miles Black, Tim Stacy, and Kathleen Driscoll. So the second set is black coffee. All right. Okay. You win. La Vie en Rose. And then I think there's a special guest vocalist who's going to join us. And her mom. And her mom. Surprise! Anyhow, they're going to sing I Love Being Here With You, which seems very appropriate. Back to you, dear.
Thank you, Brian. This is a song by music by Sonny Burke and words by Francis Webster from 1948. So just picture kind of a smoky little place and, you know, kind of sitting calm and cool and smoking a cigarette. Feeling mighty lonesome, haven't slept a wink. I walk the floor and watch the door, and in between I drink black coffee. Love's a hand-me-down brew. Sunday in this weekday room. I'm talking to the shadows, 1 o'clock till 4, and Lord, how slow the moments go. All I do is pour black coffee. Since the blues caught my eye, I'm hanging out on Monday. Sunday dreams too dry. Now a man is born to go a-loving, a woman's born to weep and fret, and stay at home and to tend her oven and drown her past regrets in coffee and cigarettes. I'm moaning all the morning, moaning all the night, and in between it's nicotine and not much heart to fight. Black coffee, feeling low as the ground. It's driving me crazy, this waiting for my baby. maybe come around. Thank you. All right. All right. Oh, all right. Okay. You win. All right. Liven this up again. All right. Okay. You win. Love with you, well, all right. Okay, you win. Baby, what can I do? I'll do anything you say. It's just gotta be that way. Well, all right. Okay, you win. I'm in love with you, well, all right. Okay. You win, baby, what can I do? Anything you say I'll do, as long as it's me and you. All that I'm asking, all I want from you, just love me like I love you, and it won't be hard to do. Well, all right. Okay, you win. Love with you, well, all right. Okay, you win. Baby, what can I do? I'll do anything you say. It's just gotta be that way. All that I am asking, all I want from you, just love me like I love you, and it won't be hard to do. All right. Okay, you win. Love with you, all right. Okay, you win. Baby, one more. If you're gonna be my man, sweet baby, take me by the hand. Well, all right. Okay, you Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Miles Black, Tim Stacy, and to you guys, you're awesome. Thank you. So now it's another slow song. No, not yet, Mom, but that's okay. You can come up. Here, come on up. First, I'm going to sing La Vie en Rose, and then it's ours.
I'm
It's
so
okay,
sorry.
she's
I'll
a
come
little
back
older
later.
than me. Have a seat, Mom. Enjoy the show. Come on, sit over here. Lorraine Foster, everybody. Wow, role has changed. I can tell her where to sit. Rose, which was written and sung by Edith Piaf. But I heard it by Michael Bublé, which I loved his version. So we're going to try that way. Hold me close and hold me fast. The magic spell you cast. This is La Rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs, and though I close my eyes, I see La Rose. When you press your heart to mine, I'm in a world apart, a world where roses bloom. And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday words seem to turn into love songs. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be la vie en rose. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas. Je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est toi pour moi, moi pour toi dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la journée pour la vie. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be la vie en rose. Thank you. All right. And now I'm going to call up Lorraine Foster. Don't forget your mic.
I never had to turn my mic on. Oh, we got a microphone here. Okay. There we go.
I'm going to switch with you.
Yeah.
because this one's louder. All right. This one is called I Love Being Here With You. It was written by Peggy Lee and Bill Schluger. Schluger. So I feels like I'm swearing. Okay, that's from 1961. All right. And Lorraine Foster, everybody. I love the East. I love the West. North and South, they're both the best. But I only go there as a guest, 'cause I love being here with you.
I love the sea. I love the shore. I love the rocks. And what is more, with you there, there never be a bore. Love being here with you.
Singing in the shower, laughing by the hour. Life is such a crazy game. I love all kinds of weather, long as we're together. I love to hear you say my name. I love good wine and fine cuisine, candlelight. I love the scene.
And if you know what I mean,
I love being here with you.
I love the East, I love the West, the North and South, they're both the best. But I'll only go there as a guest, 'cause I love being here with you.
I love the sea, I love the shore, I love the rocks, and what is more, with you there, there'll never be a bore, 'cause I love being here with you.
This band is swinging, I like Ella singing, 'cause there's something else you know. And they know how to play it, and they know how to say it. They wind it up and they let it go.
I love good wine and fine cuisine and candlelight. I dig the scene.
And if you know what I mean, I love being here with you.
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 One more time.
Okay. I love being here with you and you and you and you and you. Everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we having fun yet? No kidding. See, I told you could dance in the chairs, right? Oh, Miles Black. Little Jerry Lee Lewis Black on there. Yeah, there we go. Tim Stacy. Kathleen Driscoll. And Lorraine Foster. Oh boy, what a delightful, delightful evening. And thank you all for coming. Jazz is not jazz without an audience of your enthusiasm and taste So give yourselves a hand. I want to give a special shout out this evening to Mike Higgins. All right. Stand up, Mike. There we go. Oh, that's great. What a delight. So this is a Presbyterian church, and we have a wide variety of ways of getting your money. So most of you noticed coming in that there was a brown thanks bucket, and the money in that goes to the musicians. So it's still at the back there. Beside the thanks bucket, there is I'm too old for this. There's a thing called a QR code. Right, and right, there we go. And apparently if you hold this little thing called the phone up to it, you get taken to our Canada Helps page, and you can give us money that way as well. The link, for those of you watching online, the link is to the Canada Helps page, is in the that thing that goes down the side. The chat. Thank you, Jim. Oh, man, I'm too old for this. So in the chat, and also in the chat is, you can e-transfer money to us, pamwong76@yahoo.ca. That goes straight into our account. I think that's all the ways we can get money for the musicians. However, I'm not finished yet. Because just beyond the thanks bucket, there's a weird-looking foot, pottery foot, and it was done by the same guy that did the mural at the front of the church, Bob Kingsmill, who's one of our great friends. When he made the foot, we were collecting money for socks. And we took the socks down to First United Church in the downtown east side, and they distributed them to their neighbors. And we were talking to them 3 or 4 months ago, and they said, we're wondering if you can shift to something else. Now, we'd only taken 30,037 pairs down, so I don't know why they wanted us to anyway. But the reason that we started with the socks was that it's the least item, at least we understood, it was the least donated item of clothing to those who are neighbors of First United Church in the downtown east side. And Will said, we found something that's less donated. Underwear. Right, so we're buying underwear now. So if you want to put a little money in the foot, we'll go buy underwear with it. And we're deeply, deeply grateful for that. I think we're over 200 pairs of underwear we've taken down already. This coming Saturday is the last one, but you're welcome to plug in at any point to it. One of the members of the congregation, Victoria Campbell, is a very, very adept and experienced yoga teacher. And she's doing Zoom yoga classes online on Saturday mornings from 10:30 to 11:30. The brochure is at the back, or the sheet is at the back. Don't hesitate to pick that up. Close to that sheet, there is one with all of our Jazz Evensongs through until Christmas. So we do this every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, in person, online. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can see it later. We'd love to have you participating in any of those modes. Next week, Joelle Lush, who's a wonderful jazz singer, is here with some friends. So that's at 8 o'clock. And I also want to mention on Friday, this coming Friday, live only, Dave Stanley Daou, he said I could pronounce it any way I wanted to, and he'd still like me. Is doing a benefit concert. So Dave is running in the Terry Fox run, and I think we hooked up when you sent me an invitation to donate, which I did, and then we were chatting away, and I said, well, have you ever thought of doing a benefit concert to raise more money? And I said, you're welcome to use Brentwood if you want, and he jumped on it in a moment's notice. And so that was wonderful. Dave's here. Do you want to say a couple of words? You come up to the microphone. You don't mind him using it, do you? It's on. There we go. So Dave's music director at the Center Church out in Wally.
Yep. Okay, well, it would be awesome if you came down on Friday. I have stage 4 prostate cancer, and when they told me that, I decided I would drive across the country, because that's what was a bucket list thing for me. They told me I had a couple years left to live, so I wanted to do it. So as I drove across the country, I ran into Mr. Terry Fox a couple times, and just made a big impression on me. And so anyway, on Friday, I'll be telling my story and singing some original songs. I've written songs about Terry and just my journey through life and alcoholism and all the fun stuff that happens through life. So I appreciate it if you come on down.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
When you're done.
Hang on, just I got to check my notes. Am I done yet? I only have the benediction. I'll do that after you say a few words.
I just wanted to say thank you, Brian, for giving me support for my first time doing something like this. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, Brian. And also to Miles Black and Tim Stacy. Thank you very much. Lorraine Foster. And I want to thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. And you guys online also, thank you for your support. I just wanted to say that. So
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. Jim, how many we have online? Wonderful. So 75 here and 48 online?
Wow.
You did good, kid.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. You win. Oh, and I should say, for some reason, I ended up being a bit of the face of this congregation, especially in the jazz community. But it is the whole congregation. I mean, this is it's not a big congregation. It's a wonderfully energetic, delightful group of people. Special thanks to Jim Smith, who's doing our live streaming tonight. Jim is also our minister in association, the Reverend James Smith. He's our minister in association. He was for 20 years the minister at Central Presbyterian Church downtown at Thurlow and Davie, and took them through that huge redevelopment that they have down here. And Jim has been a dear friend and support from the early mid-70s. God, we're that old. And still friends. Oh, anyhow, again, thank you all for being such an important part of this. Now, we do know more deeply that the Creator's hospitality embraces us. Now we know more deeply that Christ's hope inspires us. And now we know more deeply that the Spirit's healing energy accompanies us. So let's go forth, inspired by the provocative peace of Jesus, our Creator's Christ, and take this vibe into all of our networks.